Hello, I'm Sean Richards of Not a Yes Man's Economics, and today's subject is looking at trying to measure the economic impact of the coronavirus. The UK this morning has come up with a sequence of numbers which take us back to the first quarter of 2020, and the truth is that they hide really more than they show. What do I mean by that? Well, let me give you an example of where this can go wrong. The numbers show that the UK economy shrank by 2.2% rather than 2%. Being reported in some areas is worse, and of course technically it is, but the fact is the error counts here are far higher than that. In fact, in the UK itself, the economics editor of the BBC, Faisal Islam, is reporting back on the fourth quarter of a difference of £1 million. That's down to 4 decimal places, and that frankly is just ridiculous. The numbers are nothing like accurate enough for that. And let me give you some examples from the trade figures, which are for the UK, but the same issues will apply around the world. The first is that they have no real idea of some of the numbers right now. For the UK, services is a really big deal, somewhere around 4/5 or 80% of the economy. Yet, as we look into the numbers, we see that the reply rate on some of the surveys is down as low as about 35%. So we know very little. Even in the good times, there is a real struggle here. This is the big deal, as I said before, for the UK economy and so many others. But we only get a very small, in old era terms, not even a page worth, in modern era terms, a couple of paragraphs, and that's it. And of course, there are all sorts of questions that people would like to know answers to. For example, were services impacted more than trade? How does this work? The trade numbers, we get more detail. There's a breakdown on things like manufacturing, particular sectors, so that we have more detail, more idea. In normal times, we also get a geographical breakdown. That's probably a bit harder. There are always issues with that, but at least an attempt is made. Bringing those numbers back into the GDP ones already brings in a lot of doubt. We can take that a bit further. It's something that's much more specific to the UK, which is its role in the gold trade. London's a very large player in this. And the thing is that these are large movements, but only a small amounts really to do with the UK. So brokers' fees, exchange fees, insurance, and so on, yes. But the actual movement of the gold is in general not. So that washes in and out of the numbers and makes them very difficult. Other countries will have their own factors, but the UK, and this goes back to my point earlier about services, something that we'd like to measure well, because it's a genuinely big deal. And part of this revolves around the role of London around the world as a financial centre. If we now look wider, doesn't apply so much to the first quarter, but looking ahead, events in Hong Kong may well influence that, make London an even bigger player. It seems reasonable that should things continue in the way that they are in Hong Kong, that some businesses will leave in the finance area, some will come to London, and the same game will start again. Particular issue for the UK. In a way, it's a good thing, it has such a strong financial sector, but it does bounce some of the rest of the economy around, which is a bad. Coming back to the numbers and how we try and measure that, there is a link with all of this, which is when we come to things like the wider part of the current account and the international investment position, which is the truth is that numbers are reported, but they have no idea for them. So a bit of humility is in order, I think, when we look at GDP and trade numbers. Thank you.